Okay, it's 3:33 a.m. in the East Coast. I guess that's about midnight. One shooter, the shooter is down, and they think he was the only one. So that is the update at 3:34 now, 3:34 a.m. And I'm right now editing my first part. If I can get the audio to load. And just, like I said, I'm just going to put this up on the internet. I'm not going to add any cleaning or any of that stuff up. It's just going up as is. So it's my reactions. Do you know that's what's important when attacks happen? Because it's always the censorship, and we need more journalists out here. Alex Jones makes the call all the time. We need more people covering. We need more people making their comments. And I done this live while it was happening. And I know it's just my thoughts, and I don't know anything, but at least I'm adding to the narrative here, to what I think. And I actually saw Fox News while I go play political. Now, the guy reporting, I don't think he wants to. He was just doing what he was told. He was just doing what he was told. He said he wanted to say some things that were unkind, but he didn't say them because he couldn't. But you want to know something? I've said it, and I've said it in this video that's coming up, and I'll say it in the new one that's coming up. I'm going to record throughout the day, and this will be the part 2 to this other recording that I done, and I'm going to title it part 1. And I'll record my conclusions later about what I think. I think it was a terrorist attack. It could just be this Black Lives Matter crowd. All this about the NFL. They're really trying to get this started, this race war. And when the press conference comes, I'm going to put my recorder over there by the TV so it can record the press conference. They said in 15 minutes. So it'll be less than 15 minutes now. Okay, I am starting the recorder again because the police press conference is coming up. And I'm going to put it closer to the TV here. So it's recording the press conference. And this will be part 2 to the video.
Not far from that iconic sign that says "Welcome to Vegas," Las Vegas sign that people take photos in front of.
But so many people crowded into a small area. Yeah, so many people crowded into a small area to actually enjoy a concert, and then all of this to unfold. And as you mentioned, we're going to go to a news conference soon. We'll go to that as soon as we can, Adam. But go ahead, please. I see you there. Go ahead.
For those who just can't, I'm going to show, because we showed this earlier, just to kind of give people an idea. We know we have viewers that just come in. There's blood on the sidewalks around here. Blood on the sidewalk over there. That's blood from people that were either injured, also blood from people that were being taken away, or people that have been helping people injured. But this is what, this is one of the most disturbing things we walked up on when we were coming this direction. You're in the middle of the street in Las Vegas, an area that normally would be packed this time of night. The concert would be over. People be milling about. You've got, this is basically a freezer. And that's blood from victims or victim. We don't know what happened, why it's out here. It looks like they may have put a body on top of because it's been slid across and it has wheels. Maybe they put somebody on top of this and rolled it out over here. We know that people were being thrown in the back of trucks, in the back of SUVs, being taken away in cars. There's somebody inside that ambulance right there going, somebody being treated in the back of that ambulance right there. There's still ambulances moving in all directions right here, guys, with people inside. We have seen the lack of response coming in now, in the sense that, we were for a good hour and a half, we saw police coming in from all directions, ambulances coming in from all directions. We do not see that now. We see them leaving like that. person was sitting inside, and I saw his eyes were open, so we're hoping he's okay.
Yeah.
He was sitting up inside on the gurney inside the ambulance as it drove by. Here's some more people coming out right now. As they come out, Kelly, if they've had a little bit too much, we try to be cordial and let them go on, just because it's just tough situation as it is. Sir, were you inside? Can I ask you a question? Okay. All right. Glad you're all right. You too. So Kelly, you can see this is people are stunned here now. You go to different phases.
Yeah. Absolutely, Adam, because the shock and being stunned and dazed by this, they will have this in their minds and hearts for days, if not weeks and months to come. They will remember this night as being a night that started off peacefully, the end of a 3-day concert, and then for some inexplicable reason, we don't know the motives of this person who waved this gun and opened fire on these innocent people. We don't have any motive at this point. Hopefully we'll get something in the news conference that's about to take place. But the bottom line is the people who walk away from this and those who went back to help, they will remember this, and they will try to find some way to make sure this doesn't happen again. But as you and I know, and we've reported on stories like this again and again and again, and we keep asking ourselves, when will it stop? And Adam, it doesn't seem to be stopping right now. It seems to be that people are, for whatever axe they have to grind, they're taking out violently, and as a result of that, we're seeing events like this marred by violence and deadly violence.
Absolutely. I've covered these events, San Bernardino and other parts around the world. I mean, Israel, the Middle East. I mean, we've seen these, unfortunately, these type of attacks and shootings happening, and it's here comes some more people coming out, guys. We'll see if we
sure.
People walking out. I want to go back to that video too, Kelly. We're waiting for these folks to walk out. Can we go back to that video again? We've only played it once so far, but it gives you an idea.
Let's go back to that.
I'll set up viewers too. When my first phone call came at around 10:30 from one of our desk folks in Los Angeles, who said, "Adam, our intern is hiding in the basement." I'm like, "What?" I was asleep, and we were going to get up tomorrow morning early for another story. And at that point, I pulled my phone on. Already there were videos of the gunfire. And there are a lot of them online. It gives you an idea of what people were dealing with. Take a listen. You know what? Stay here, guys. Hold on. Stay here. Stay with us. Don't go to that yet. Let's see what's coming out here. We've got these are some of the first responders, EMTs coming out. Yeah, here, guys. Here's some of the EMTs. Looks like some other volunteers coming out that were inside. These are the men and women. These are some of the men and women that saved, helped save lives. There's no other way of putting it.
Yeah, it appears that some of them are still wearing their gloves. Is that right? I can't see in the darkness there.
Still wearing their gloves. No, they're still wearing their gloves. We met folks. We met folks also, Kelly, that had no medical experience. That one guy was a former military, that guy was former police. Just basically took off their shirt and wrapped wounds. I mean, they just tried to stop the bleeding. Another guy took off his clothes and put them over people's faces that looked like they had died and weren't breathing. Here comes somebody in right now. We do have that video again now that we've saw the EMT walk out. Some of the EMT folks walk out. Let's take a listen to that video one more time of what it was like inside for those folks who were here at this concert. Take a listen. Just utter chaos. There's no other way of explaining it. The way we've been told the same story from every single person. Now, granted, stories are going to change. We know this from covering breaking news situations. Yeah. You're going to have people say, for example, there's a shooter at the Tropicana, which we know was not true. But one story is consistent, and that story is if we're going to walk towards the strip. That story is this: that Jason Aldean was at the end of his concert, the last song, we believe. Everyone says the same thing. If you hear that video, it sounds like firecrackers. Pow, 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 pow. At first, people were like, oh, end of a concert festival? Makes sense. Did the shooter plan on doing that? Maybe. We don't know. It would make sense if he did or she did, depending on who the shooter is. At that point, Jason Aldean ran. And people on stage ran, took cover. People in the crowd then ran.
It's probably
took cover if they could. People got trampled. People got shot. People dove into cars. People drove to hotels nearby. People hid in basements. People hid in beer trucks. Bodies were thrown in the back of flatbed trucks. Bodies were thrown into people's SUVs. People were taking off their clothes, trying to help those who've been shot or trampled. It was utter chaos. When we got here, what time did we get here? 11:30? So we got here maybe an hour.
Yeah, you've been on
scene with this spot
at least.
Yeah, I mean, I would say, but we got here an hour. I would say within 10 minutes of the shooting, our hotel's off the strip. My room looks directly down here. I can see Mandalay from my hotel. And you could see the helicopter above it already. And it was as if, I mean, every police officer, and I'm sure it was, from every direction. I mean, it was just a mass siren. You could hear it everywhere, from every street, it seemed like, all heading in this direction, heading southbound. Within a couple of minutes, I was throwing my own clothes on and saw the helicopter, or not helicopter, sorry, saw ambulances head away from the scene already, coming up Paradise, heading away from the shooting scene, going towards,
I wonder if the shooter was screaming out of Akbar.
Then when we got here on site, we saw police in tactical gear, running around, telling us to make sure we stayed back and stayed down, which we did. Told people to get back in their houses, in their apartments, their condos, their businesses. We met one guy who's grabbed his employees, pulled them inside, locked the door. The first person I met was a guy, I can't remember his name, last name was Brown. He was the former Marine from New York, came down here to Vegas to visit his mom for a couple of weeks and decided to take a job for 3 days as a security guard at a country concert to make some extra cash. And he was helping carry bodies to cars.
And you know, Adam, he's someone who said to you that, and it may not sound all that fit and proper, but it wasn't a fit and proper situation. We said this sucks, that someone would come in and disrupt the peace
there's no other way of
this kind of concert. There is no other way to put it. It's very tragic, and he's right in his language that this would take place. And then you had other people telling you that we've got to stand together and help each other in situations like this, and stand together as Americans as well to
we can't
try
let
to
the
help
Democrats divide us.
Kelly, come back
We
here.
can't let the Black Lives Matter divide us.
View here. This
We
is the
can't
Las
let
Vegas
the
Strip.
Antifas divide us. We are Americans.
Monday morning, almost 1 a.m. This is the Las Vegas Strip. You don't see the Las Vegas Strip like this, Kelly.
Never. Ever.
I mean, you're looking down the street, New York.
And if you was Muslims, will kick your ass. It's the American way.
Nobody's walking. The monorail's not moving. Some of the lights aren't on. Law enforcement in every direction. The intersection's blocked, obviously. The good news, we believe, is that the only shooter has been taken out, at least is down. At least that's what law enforcement is saying, and we're waiting for that press conference to be updated. I suspect
I'm editing my video over here, so that's a little far away from the table.
We are Las Vegas.
Adam's talking to his producer right now on the scene, the field producer, but he's keeping informed in terms of what's going on there in Las Vegas as he takes a walk. But what you're seeing is a place that looks, I mean, this is not Las Vegas the way we typically see it. Go ahead, Adam.
Kelly, we're going to show you. So, just kind of stand up front so you can see where this is. Barnesy, that to my right, you can kind of see. So they had some carnival rides inside this area as well. This is the top part, basically the northernmost point of the concert festival, right there. You're seeing that one of those kind of carnival rides where they goes up and swings people around. That's right here. So we're 10 yards from where this was. So people were running in all directions as well. You can see that's where it was located, and then where we were a block to our east was where the triage is, where we've been standing the last hour and a half. That kind of gives you an idea of the perspective. Not very wide, not very big. There's a strip down this way. Here's Mandalay. See how far it was, obviously staying out of the way of law enforcement. There's Mandalay Bay right there, guys. As you can see that. Let's go over this. This is one of the entry points. Again, we're not sure. We cannot confirm the shooting came from Mandalay. That's what people were telling us. We had a number of police officers tell us that. Not official yet, but it would make sense if someone was doing that. They would have a very strong position, if you will, shooting downwards. This is the festival right here, guys. You can see the Route 91 Harvest Festival. This is gate 3. This is where people walked in tonight with the idea that they were going to have, you can still smell the beer in the air. The people were here to have a good time. People were here to see some of their favorite acts. And unfortunately, a few hours later, some of them did not make it out. And it's very eerie here right now. There's nobody here. It's very eerie, Kelly.
It's very eerie indeed to see it like this, Adam, because you and I have been to Las Vegas many times. I have friends out there. You have friends out there. And to see it this quiet and so stark in terms of what we're accustomed to seeing. And I think all of this has been done because of a lone, we don't know right now, but we know that one gunman has been put down. We don't know if he's deceased or if he's still in care. But we do know that your reporting, as always, Adam, has been very good for us, bringing us live updates. Adam House, I want to thank you for doing that as we prepare to get to Fox and Friends First. For those of you who have been watching since we came on live with this, I will remind you of what one witness said. His name is Zach. He said you have to make sure to care for each other in all situations, particularly like this. He said that his sister saw in plain sight a shooting from an area, and it was coming from on top, and she says that she saw someone get shot in the head on the ground. Zach went on to say that he was trying to keep the people near him calm. And he ended his conversation with the KBVU saying, in times like this, we need to care for each other, and we need to know that God is there for us, even in the most horrible situations. I'm Kelly Wright.
True.
This has been live reporting from
God
Fox
will
News.
also
We take
punish
you now
the
to
ones
Fox
that
and
are
Friends.
doing this. Run on for a long time. Sooner or later, God will catch you. I was waiting on the press conference, so I'm going to close this right quick. I'll be back when the press conference starts.
Survivors recounting the horrifying images of bodies in the streets.
There were a couple of bodies there, and started loading them into the back of a truck.
Everyone who I saw breathing, I helped, man.
I can't now. That's good. That's right.
Well, at least 2 people are dead. Confirmed this morning, dozens more are wounded, and 1 gunman has been taken down.
Yeah, we've been watching these images as they've been coming in. Let's get right to our live team coverage for you, though, on the ground there in Las Vegas. Adam Housley, who has been talking with witnesses.
But we do begin with Lauren Blanchard, who's been monitoring the scene all night long. Lauren, good morning. What can you tell us at this hour?
Yeah, good morning, Rod, Heather. So we are here along Sunset Boulevard, the Mandalay Bay, just behind there. This is as far as police are letting people go. This is also an area where they are evacuating a number of people who were staying in the hotels, who were at the concert, those who were working in the hotels. Now, what we know at this point, 2 people are dead, 26 injured, as many as a dozen critically injured. That's according to officials. We do know 1 suspect is down, and police say at this point they don't believe there are any more shooters. Now, we're also speaking with some folks who were at that concert, 2 young girls who said they were at the front row. They were enjoying the very end of this concert when all of a sudden they saw that singer Jason Aldean just ducked to the floor, and this is what they said.
He dropped and ran. He just ran off the stage, and then people started dropping to the floor, and then we were running out.
And then we ran out and we saw some victims that were shot. There was a hole through the side of her head, and someone was there with her.
And what we know is the gunman possibly opened fire from a high floor, possibly the 32nd, maybe the 20th floor of that hotel at the Mandalay Bay. There were also reports, unconfirmed reports of other shooters. At this point, police saying they are taking every precaution, but of course they are watching, monitoring this situation very closely. The many parts of the Las Vegas Strip, this famed area, just completely shut down. People out of there. They have folks who have evacuated. Now they are just lining up, trying to make phone calls to let loved ones know they are safe. We have seen people here who have employees who are working there who are trying to take all of their employees into account and make sure that they are all safe. So a lot of people really stressed out. We did just see just moments ago a husband who was waiting for his wife, who was a cocktail waitress. He said whenever the shooting broke out, she jumped over a fence and was making her way here. He was anxiously waiting as far as police would let him go, and we watched them as they made this very emotional, tearful embrace. And he said because they have 5 children, and he was extremely worried because he said he knew people who had been shot. So folks here really on high alert. Police taking no precautions at this moment. Heather, Rob?
Yeah, definitely taking extra precautions there.
And at this point, Lauren, it does appear that the scene, at least for right now, has calmed a little bit. They believe that the sole gunman in this has been taken down. It doesn't look like it's still an active scene, does it?
Well, at this point, we have, over the last hour or so, up and down this street, we saw police cars just flying at just insane speeds up and down here, car after car. Oh, guys, if you look at this right here, I'm going to just have my camera turn. Phil, so we have folks being bussed in right now out of this area. A lot of folks have just been waiting here, trying to get anywhere, trying to get back to the hotels. We have folks who have belongings in the hotel. Looks like they are now taking them out of this area. So guys, it is a calmer now than it was maybe an hour or so ago, but still an active scene.
All right, Lauren Blanchard live for us, and we do want to mention that we are expecting a news conference any moment now from the sheriff there, Joseph Lombardo, and we will take you to that as soon as we see him approach the microphones.
Yeah, and that could happen at any minute. But first, let's go live to Adam Housley. He is right there, right about where this happened, near the Mandalay Bay Resort on the Las Vegas Strip, right between Mandalay Bay and the airport there. He's been talking to witnesses all night long.
Adam, what have they been telling you? We've been watching your coverage.
Yeah, we're at the crime scene right here on the strip. Behind me is the Mandalay. You can see the venue, or the ability, the level it has, I should say, the closeness to not only the location where the shooting took place, but potentially the angle it would have been at. That we have been told it was 20th floor. Again, that has not yet been confirmed. 26 now, we're being told. Possibly 26th floor was Walk This Way Barnes. So they would have a very, very strong vantage point down onto the actual concert venue, which was across the street from Mandalay, which is where we are right now. This is where the shooting took place. This is where people were running at about 10:30 this evening, local time. So roughly 2.5 hours ago. This is where they'd be running from. You can see that if you look around, you can see stuff all over the place. People just dropped hats. I mean, everything. Look inside, there's a stage. That's where Jason Aldean would have been performing. We're not going to go inside because it's an active crime scene. We do not want to do anything to taint it, but there's a stage. You see the proximity of the stage to the Mandalay? If he was using, or she, the shooter, which they believe right now was only one and is down, if they were in the Mandalay, the 26 floors, we're being told, they would have an absolute pristine location to do what they did, which is to open fire on a music festival. They would be at a perfect level, at a perfect distance, and at a perfect time, the end of the festival. People thought these were fireworks. We've heard the video at the top of the show. It sounds like fireworks. And we've told by every witness who walked out, I thought it was fireworks. Every single one. At first, Jason Aldean, we're told, and people kind of thought that was what was happening. Then he scattered. People on stage scattered. The concert venue scattered. People were trampled. People were shot. People were being thrown in the back of trucks, in the back of SUVs. People we met took off their clothes, wrapped people's wounds. One man took off his shirt and put it over a body because the person was dead. Blood everywhere. That was what's going on. Complete and utter chaos. Countless rounds. If you've heard the video, it's pow, 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 and it stops, and then again, and then again, and then again. It just seemed like it would not stop. One woman told me it felt like it went on for 30 minutes. We don't know how it went on that long, but it definitely went on for a significant amount of time. And if that shooter was on the 26th floor of Mandalay, there would be no better spot unless you were inside. But the problem with that is people could theoretically get you. So if you're alone by yourself at a high level shooting down at a concert venue, you have unfortunately, a very strong position, and that's what may have happened here tonight. You're seeing some of the law enforcement coming this way. Now we're going to move back as they're coming down the street. We're on the Las Vegas Strip, guys, so this normally would be packed on a Sunday night, Monday morning. That's Mandalay. There's Delano. There's Luxor coming this direction. You can see Excalibur, New York, MGM. Everything here is basically on lockdown in this southern part of the Strip. When you fly into Vegas, this is what you see. To my right, you'll see some of the police officers that were here first. They backed in. That's one of the emergency gates. This obviously is the best way to explain it, kind of like a carnival setup. This is a vacant lot across the street from the Mandalay, across the street from the Luxor. Luxor would actually not be as good of a vantage point because you've got trees and you've got the Luxor obelisk in front. So if someone was going to do this, that was where they would do it. The numbers right now, we're told officially, are 24 injured and 2 dead and a gunman down. Those numbers will change. There is no doubt. Keep walking this way, guys. We're
26 injured.
now. My producer Jennifer says 26 injured now.
The 32nd floor.
And the 32nd. So we're getting information fluid always in situations. We saw this in San Bernardino and other locations as well. So now we're seeing here in 32nd floor, 26th floor, whatever floor it is. If that is where the shooter was, there was no better position to do what they did. It was kind of like a carnival. As I told you, there's carnival rides right here. Here's one of the entrances. This is gate 3A. So imagine, folks, coming through here 4, 5, 6 hours ago to enjoy some of their famous and favorite acts who ran back through this gate fearing for their lives. There's blood on sidewalks around here. We found as you guys saw, we found a freezer that you would find in the back of someone's grocery store. I've seen them as a kid. It looks like a body was laid on top when they rolled it down the street. It's blood all over it in the middle of the street in Las Vegas. So that's where we are at this hour, guys. We are expecting that press conference. Yeah.
Let me cut into you real quick here and just ask. I mean, there was a lot of miscommunications early on, which we understand in a chaotic scene like that. But the reports of shootings at other hotels, other locations, this seems to be an isolated incident. Somebody firing from the balcony, it sounds like, of the Mandalay Bay into that crowd. That seems to be the sole incident that happened here, right?
Absolutely. In fact, when we first arrived, the reports were there was a shooter that had run into the hotel over my shoulder, which would be the Tropicana, and that there was a shooter possibly there. There were reports that there were multiple shooters. Same thing happened in San Bernardino. When we arrived there, they said there were 3 shooters at one point. That is very normal, unfortunately, for these horrific situations. The information is fluid. People hear echoes. They hear from different things. You and I see something, we're going to see it a different way. We've been told that has all been cleared. Now, obviously, they're still going through a lot of these hotels. Many of them are connected from walkways. They have to go through, and it's a tedious process. Obviously, there's still a lot of evidence to be gathered, but at this hour, we are told they believe there was only one shooter, and that shooter is down. That is very good news. The incredibly sad news is that the injuries numbers continue to go up, and the death toll, I believe, is going to go up from just talking to the witnesses that we've spoken to who were walking out with blood all over their bodies. Right now, it's at 2. Also, the reason why those numbers are going to change is because some people were taken away in cars. They weren't taken away in ambulances. People literally threw them in the SUVs and drove away. One of our interns in Los Angeles was here with her family. I talked to her. She was over there. Look at Hooters in the distance. It's about 2 blocks away. They were, I can say this now because they're safe. They called me, or she texted me. I called them, and there's like 20 people hiding in the basement closet of the Hooters hotel. They were here. They jumped in a car and they drove there to get away. People, and back over to my right, some of those booths right there, we spoke with some of the women who were running those booths right over my right shoulder. They went into the beer trucks, which is kind of near where this carnival ride is, and went inside the beer trucks and pulled down the sides to because you have the metal encasing around you. So people were taking cover in any possible way they could.
Adam,
and at the same time, people ran back in to help.
Adam, you were talking about the fear that the number of injuries and the number of deaths would escalate. There were we're being told, 40,000 people there. That was one of the reports. How many people were there at the scene initially to begin with at this concert?
I don't know the exact number. It may be as many as 40,000. We're seeing some of the law enforcement go out now in their tactical gear. Here, show right here, guys. Some of the guys you can see there, they were the guys that had gone inside. Okay, they're asking us to move out. So we'll go. We'll do. Okay. No problem.
Yeah, asking you to move back at this point.
They're gonna push Adam back out of the way.
We're gonna go back. We're gonna go. What's that? Okay.
Yeah.
Thank you. We're moving out of the way right now. The question was how many people were in here?
Yes.
We know the numbers fluctuate. I don't know. Definitely, you got to believe they're 20, 30, maybe 20, 30,000 just because of the names of the acts that were here. We've covered these things before, but it's a very compact area, so the bodies of people will be very close together.
I just wanted to ask you one more question. One of the witnesses that you spoke with,
Sure.
he said on the other side of that line, he believed that there were multiple fatalities. What did that mean? Like, what side of the street is he talking about? Do you remember that person you were talking to?
I'll show you. Yeah. Absolutely. We're walking there right now. So we're walking basically around the block. This basically is a lot across the street, maybe a couple of acres in size, a vacant lot across the street from Mandalay and Luxor. That's where the concert venue was. So if there were 30,000, 40,000 people there, it would have been packed. We're walking to the other side, so it would be basically the east side of that same lot. We're walking around the AM, PM, which is the north side. So basically it's kind of walking around. If you picture a rectangle, we walked from the long left side around the top short side. We're going to come down to the other long side, so to speak. That's where the triage location was. We were within 30 feet of ambulances, stayed back, and one of the men walked out and said on the other side there were casualties. He said that he's counted as many as possibly 5 people on the sidewalk and on the street that were dead, that had been covered up. We decided not to go any further, and we, of course, that's not what we're here to do. We're walking that direction right now. You guys, so you can see right here, this was the main vein out, right there. That is Reno Avenue and Giles Street. That is basically the back side of the concert venue. That's where it looks like the vendors were going. Here's gate 4 right here. This is probably a vendor's gate here, Barnesy, to our right. You see a wheelchair there. There's some of the trucks and areas. You can see there are different sections here of the concert. You can look inside. There's the booths. You can see this area was all packed. So the shooting was taking place, if we're to believe what we were told, from the 20th to 30th floor of Mandalay down onto the concert venue, which would be just on the other side of those booths. So you have the situation of people being hit by gunfire, but then the mass of thousands of people running out. That's why you have people that were trampled. We know there were a number of people that had pretty serious injuries from being trampled. Now, as we walk this direction, guys, this is Reno and Giles Street. This is the main vein out where we saw countless ambulances come in and out of here. The triage location was here. This is where we were from early on. When we first got here, police were in tactical gear, helmets, long rifles, semi-automatic rifles. It was like I'd seen at other attacks that we've covered. Unfortunately, like I've seen when I've been overseas. That's the kind of armor that they had on them. About a half an hour after we got here, we saw them take that off, and that's when I believe this area at least was secure. We stayed back and followed their orders. But you can see there's blood on the sidewalk. Let's go over here. We'll show. There's a triage right there, guys. That's a triage area. Yeah. You can see the street sign still up. Special event ahead. Proceed with pedestrian crossing ahead. Proceed with caution. I mean, this shows this was where the concert venue was. Right there, those lights you're looking at, that Eric Barnes, photographer, is showing you. That is where the triage was. We were down there, and close enough but far enough back where you could see the rubber gloves and the gauze and all the different supplies used to treat those who had been injured. This way, we're going to keep walking because I'm going to show you a couple of things that we showed earlier. I know we're still waiting for that press conference. As soon as we hear the press conference, we'll go to it.
And Adam, we can certainly come back to you if we need to. If you guys need to reposition yourselves, but go ahead. Okay.
Yeah, I'm just literally walking down. This is what people were doing, guys. They're walking down this street when we came up, and there's blood on the sidewalk over here. This is the freezer. It's unbelievable. I mean, I grew up in a grocery store. We had one of these in the back room. You don't find these sitting in the middle of the street in anywhere, let alone Las Vegas. This was used. I got to believe this is used as a gurney
to carry someone out
of some sort, because because you can see where a bloody body had been slid off it, and it has its wheels. It has wheels so it can be rolled. And if you're trying to get away from a scene where shots are still being fired, you do whatever you can to get people away. You do whatever you can. You don't care what it takes. We saw people walking out with half their clothes gone. Over on the sidewalk over here, there's bloody footprints
Adam, we
So this is
certainly
what we've been seeing.
we appreciate your coverage all night long. We're going to let you get situated again, and we're going to check in with some other folks, and we'll check back with you shortly. So, stand by and find out what else you can find out at this point.
And right now we are going to go to the phone now. We're going to go to former Las Vegas Metro Police Field Lieutenant Randy Sutton. Randy, thanks so much for calling in this morning. I guess the first thing I'd like to ask you is, have you been in contact with anybody from the department? Can you give us any indication of an update on what has happened?
Yeah, this has been a very chaotic scene. At first report, it came out as several shooters. Now apparently it has been determined that there was only one shooter, and he was isolated in the Mandalay Bay Hotel. The reports are that he is down. I believe that he either committed suicide or was taken out by law enforcement. I heard some of the radio traffic from the officers when they were closing in on him. The effective range of this was fully automatic gunfire, by the way. This was not a semi-automatic weapon. This was a full automatic. You could tell by the sound of gunfire, the effective range of some of these weapons, because there was quite a distance involved here from that balcony down to where the people were hit. But the effective range of that weapon, if it was an AK-47 or some other type of fully automatic assault weapon, that would be the effective firing range. But that would mean that this individual was well trained and had experience with this type of firearm. There are numerous casualties. There's been reported as 2 dead, 24 injured. That's going to go away from the anecdotal stories we've been hearing. There's the hospitals are packed with people. This is a nightmare that Las Vegas has unfortunately prepared for. This is there's no doubt in my mind that this is a terrorist incident.
As we continue to talk to you, we're going to take a look at the video that is just in. I know that you've heard about this as well. This happened during the performance of Jason Aldean, who was the last performer, I believe, during the concert. Let's listen to what happened as the shooting started to happen and he realized what was going on. Listen.
That certainly, there's no doubt that is an automatic weapon and a high-powered automatic weapon.
Well, and at first, though, he like so many people, thought that it was just fireworks, and you can see when he realizes that in fact was not the case. In terms of the amount of time that this went on, some of the witnesses say that it went on what they believe was like 20, 30 minutes. Are you still with us?
Yes.
Yeah. About how long did this go on, the shooting?
That is the reports that I have heard as well, upwards of 20 minutes. And keep in mind that this was an absolutely packed venue with people, in very, very close proximity, so that the number of rounds, this individual must have had numerous magazines. That shows that this was a planned event, that he was well armed, that there was plenty of ammunition. The fact that that you empty a magazine like from an automatic weapon like that, when you just let loose with it, the firepower, you empty that magazine very quickly. and so he was able to reload numerous times.
Yeah.
So that indicates that he had numerous magazines with him.
Yeah, it's a horrifying scenario, and even from a few hundred yards away, Mandalay Bay across Las Vegas Boulevard is quite a distance. Randy, hang with us for a second and just stay on the line. We're going to go now to Adam Housley, who is speaking to somebody that has actually been hiding from gunfire and just came out, just resurfaced from that. Adam, go ahead.
Yeah, Robert Hayes with LA Fire, and you were here with your wife at the concert.
Yeah, my wife and a couple of friends for a birthday event.
Yeah, you were up by the front. The reason why I'm glad I'm talking to you is I know being a firefighter, you can understand being at what a breaking situation is like this and a tragic situation. You're up at the front of the stage. Tell me what you were just telling me.
Absolutely. We were actually in front of the stage, and my wife and I said, hey, let's go grab something to drink. We've been here since 4:30 in the afternoon. We honestly went to the little VIP lounge up front, grabbed a drink, mingled with some other friends, and then all of a sudden we heard some pops when Jason Aldean came on to perform. And honestly, at the start, we all thought that it was probably like an electronic thing, a malfunction or stuff, feedback or whatnot, and everybody was kind of, I'm like, hey, it's okay, everybody's all right. And then all of a sudden, people started dropping by the stage area and up front by us.
You're a firefighter. I've talked to a lot of folks who came out who were heroes. Blood all over their bodies, missing clothes because they used them to help try to stop bleeding. You're telling me some stuff that you saw. I mean, I can't even fathom.
It was pretty much like a war scene inside. I've seen a lot of stuff in my day with the fire department. It was hard to see even the bodies that are outside down the street here that were carried probably a half a mile from the incident. Honestly, I probably pronounced 15 to 20 people inside. It's a very sad day on an event like this, that something that never should have happened.
So you said you think you believe 15 to 20 people that you saw that were dead inside?
I know I pronounced 15 to 20 people inside, unfortunately. I do. I got my wife and my 4 other friends out. They're harboring in one of the hotels right now.
And you went back in with SWAT, right?
I went back in actually with SWAT. They gave me a vest, identified myself. Actually, I never went back in. I never left. I just left right now, actually, when they got Jason Aldean out. So we stayed out and did a recon of the whole situation, made sure everybody that was DOA at the time, I rechecked everybody. I was with another medic from the fire department, and I went back inside, and I mean, it's just something that we do. I wasn't trying to be a hero. I wanted to make sure that I wasn't leaving anybody behind.
How many people do you think were taken out of here that were shot? You had to guess.
Well, I know that unfortunately in the parking lot backside of Mandalay Bay right here, I had a couple gentlemen. I was doing a staging area with some of the bodies that I was dragging up the stairs, which was really sad. Unfortunately, right over here, there's a gentleman that's with his wife, and the other gentleman down here, they were using tables and some of the freezers and stuff to pull people out of here. I just went down to recheck with one of them, a gentleman I just met. I didn't put a face on it, but he was from Alaska here with his wife, and it's a sad day.
I mean, when we walked up on this earlier, I said that was probably used as a gurney. When I just met you, you walked over and you said, you know what that is? I said, that's a freezer that's probably used as a gurney. So you're telling me that really was, they used
it as a gurney, and the tables that were inside were as gurneys as well. They were using everything we can. We're using the rails between the partitions in between. We were carrying bodies out with that as well. So I was just trying to get bodies inside to pull them outside so we can do some kind of triage. So before we got the fire department in here.
High-powered rifle, we believe. I could hear, I witnessed the video that I've listened to.
From some of the incidents I've gone on in the past, it was a high-powered rifle. It was probably honestly an automatic, and then like I was talking to some of the PD that went in with me, then he probably put it in a semi-automatic mode. That's when you start hearing the pop, pop, pop.
And you said that some of the people you pronounced dead were very clearly hit in the head, unfortunately, but that means this individual knew what he or she was doing.
Well, I think with 30,000 people, honestly, in the arena area, that it was kind of like shooting goldfish, unfortunately. He didn't have to be good or whatnot, or he or she. It was just a reckless situation, and it's a sad, sad day.
You're a firefighter in Los Angeles. You've been obviously to a lot of tragic events. I mean, how do you explain to somebody who's watching this right now going, holy smokes, what is happening in Vegas?
Well, what I don't understand is the same thing with 911 when all this stuff happened. Everybody came together and tried to create maybe a positive atmosphere for everybody else. This is a tragic situation that everybody came to have fun, and it was supposed to be a fun event. The last day, we were here celebrating a birthday with my friends. and then it turns into a tragedy. And it's sad in our society that stuff like this has to take place.
I just got to mention this again. You're a first responder from LA, here for a birthday.
I work in Venice Beach.
You work in Venice Beach, and you had to pronounce 20 people dead tonight.
Unfortunately, I did. Sad day in Las Vegas. Peace to all everybody's families. And I try to give condolences, and the three over here, I actually made face with them inside, and somebody said there's 3 bodies that were here. I mean, you can tell that's probably a half mile from where the incident took place. But I wanted to go back and give face to somebody that maybe they could, you know, I put my arms around them and told them, hey, just try to remember the good times. I mean, I deal with stuff in my whole career that we have to put back in our heads, and we have to deal with our own families and friends, and it's just something I do. So, and all my brothers that do it as well.
I know you would, and sorry, I mean under circumstances. I mean, you guys, he has blood on his shirt, on his shoes. We've seen this time after time, and I hate to have to meet you under these circumstances, but I'm, you know, to put it in perspective for us, you mean you are a first responder. I mean, this is what you do, and I appreciate you telling us. And yeah, prayers with those who are lost. Guys, back to you guys in New York.
Okay, Adam, thank you so much. All right, now we want to go over to, I guess we're going to go to we're going to go to Brenton. We're going to go to an eyewitness we have on the phone, somebody who was at the concert, Brenton Wingard, joining us now on the phone. Brenton, can you hear us?
Yeah, I can.
Just kind of paint the picture of exactly what you saw at the end of that concert. Tell us what happened.
Well, it was Sergio Demon sort of not quite halfway into his set, and we heard a tap, 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 as everyone sort of said, and we looked over. We were standing close, one side of the stage close to Mandalay Bay, the building, and we heard the tap, 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 and we looked over, and what we thought, as everyone said, was like firecrackers or fireworks, and I was looking for the smoke or something, and nothing was there, and it happened again.
Brenton, if you could stand by for us. I know that this is like a dramatic time for you and your family, but we're going to pause and take a listen to a news conference that's going on as well.
We are going to go to a news conference from Sheriff Joseph Lombardo of the Vegas Metro Police Department. They're going to give us an update on exactly what is happening. We're going to pause for just 1 second so our stations can join us.
And you're watching some live coverage now of a mass shooting that has happened in Las Vegas, Nevada. We're going to take you to a news conference for the very latest right now.
And tonight, this evening, we had calls come into dispatch of multiple shots being fired from the direction of the Mandalay Bay towards the Route 91 concert that was taking place on the east side of Las Vegas Boulevard. Through investigation and response, we determined there was a shooter on the 32nd floor of the Mandalay Bay. Officers responded to that location and engaged the suspect. He is dead currently. He has been identified. He is a local resident. I will not release his name at this time, but we are interested in a companion that is traveling with him. And her name is, and I will provide you the name, so please be accurate on this, is Mary Lou Danley, M-A-R-I-L-O-U, last name spelled D-A-N-L-E-Y. She is a Asian female, approximately 4'11", 4'11", weight of 111 pounds. We have not located her at this time, and we are interested in talking to her for follow-up. 2 vehicles we're interested in locating, and we need your assistance with that. We have a Hyundai Tucson with Nevada plate 114 Baker 40B40, and a Chrysler Pacifica Touring Nevada plate 19D401. These are the plates registered to the suspect that we located at the Mandalay Bay. So there's a couple of things that need to occur at this time. One is the Red Cross is responding to the headquarters here at the police department at 400 South Martin Luther King to receive any phone calls from family members who are trying to locate their family that attended the concert and aren't unable to contact them. So that number will be established here shortly, and we'll get it out to you to publicize it here shortly. Additionally, anybody that may have cell phone video or any type of video associated with this event that would be a benefit to the investigation, please respond to the Las Vegas Metropolitan Police Department headquarters at 400 South Martin Luther King, and we will take custody of that video. So if you have it, you evaluate it, and you think it would be a benefit, please bring that down to the headquarters. So family members, if you are unable to call, or you do not want to wait for a call and you want to respond in person, we have set up a family retreat area for you to respond so we can help you locate your loved ones here at the headquarters. So you will be contacted by a police officer here at the headquarters, and they will direct you to where you need to go. Standing with me is Special Agent in charge of the FBI, Aaron Rouse. He is assisting with the investigation, which is ongoing. And then we have Fire Chief Greg Castle from Clark County Fire, and they are assisting with all the victims. Now, as far as number of victims, I cannot give you an accurate number at this point. We have well in the excess of 100 plus injured and excess of 20 plus that have died at this point. So we will get those numbers to you accurately as soon as we can. But please bear with us. This is an ongoing investigation. But we are comfortable that the primary aggressor in this event has expired or passed away and is no longer a threat. There's been multiple phone calls and accusations or conjecture coming through social media that there's multiple shooters at other resorts. That has been proven to be false. Additionally, there has been accusations or beliefs that there's some explosives going off. That is also false. The only explosive contained in this event was from our SWAT team breaching the room. So please, we are pretty confident that there is no longer a threat, other than we are attempting to locate the person of interest.
What is the terrorist?
No, not at this point. We believe it's a local individual. He resides here locally. I'm not at liberty to give you his place of residence yet because it's an ongoing investigation. We don't know what his belief system was at this time. I'm sorry, I can't hear you. No, we have no idea at this point. It's an ongoing investigation. As you can imagine, it just happened. So please bear with us, but we have all the forces to bear from public safety handling the situation.
Can you believe he acted alone?
Okay, I'm going to say this one more time. We do not know. It's an ongoing investigation. Right now, we believe he is the sole aggressor at this point, and the scene is static. We are attempting to locate the person of interest. I have two police officers that are currently at the hospital, one in critical condition, the other one minor injuries, but there are other police officers that were off duty attending the concert that have expired. We don't have those individuals identified at this point. I don't know the sequence of events on that.
Just one more time. So you're saying how many people are injured and
right now we believe it's 100 plus injured and 20 plus dead.
Right now
okay, and I don't want to give you an accurate number because I do not have it at this point.
Right now there are still people on lockdown, on the strip. What do you say to people who are afraid right now, or what should they do?
I still want them to shelter in place. They will be contacted by first responders, and they'll advise them when they're free to go. It's better to shelter in place than to be unaware. I'm sorry, ma'am. We believe there's a couple off-duty officers that were attending the concert that may have died. We don't have them identified yet. All I know at this point is they are roommates. I can't give you that now. Yes, we believe so.
Would you be able to repeat the make and model of the cars that you're looking at?
Yes, absolutely. We are looking for a Hyundai Tucson, unknown color, Nevada plate 114B40. Additionally, we're looking for a Chrysler Pacifica Touring, unknown color, Nevada plate 19D401. Well, it is. It's a devastating time. It's unfortunate. And, you know, we have been talking about active shooters in the past, and it's unfortunate it did occur here. But we have responded to the scene, and we're doing the best we can to provide safety for the survivors. And right now we believe it's a sole actor, a lone wolf type actor, and we have the place under control. No, I cannot. All right, thank you very much. We'll do regular briefings, and we'll advise you of the schedule as they come forward. Thank you.
Okay. All right, well, we are going to return you back to your local Fox coverage here in a moment, but the big update here from the Metro Police Department there in Las Vegas, this shooting situation, 20 plus dead and more than 100 injured.
And stay with Fox News and foxnews.com for continuing coverage all day long. And once again, you're continuing to watch live coverage of a breaking situation that continues in Las Vegas, Nevada. About over 20 people dead at this point, over 100 others injured after the shooting that happened outside the Mandalay Bay at a country music concert. Jason Aldean, you see him there. He was performing live on the stage as the shots began to be fired. They do believe that only one person was responsible for this. That person is now dead. We do not know if he committed suicide or he was in fact shot by officers who responded to the scene. We just heard from that live news conference that they are, though, looking for a second person of interest believed to be his companion.
Yeah, it could be his roommate who also lived there in Las Vegas. The shooter, they're saying, they're not giving us information about the shooter, but they're saying he was a resident of Las Vegas, which in a way makes sense because he obviously knew the logistics of this situation and how to get a vantage point of this concert. But they are searching for his roommate at this point right now, a woman named Mary Lou Danley. And we're going to go to somebody who was actually there at the concert when this happened just a few hours ago. This is Brenton Wingard, who we were talking to.
Okay, I am closing up my night here on the 5:33 a.m. This is October 2nd, Monday, 2017, and I'm trying to get this loading here. It's not loading, but the Twitter says, and it's tweeted by Jeff Lord, active shooter reported at Las Vegas Mandalay Bay Resort. And I'm not sure if that's the latest. Let's see what the 16 new results are. Okay, let's play this video.
Random gunshots, and then another window busted out, and then just a bunch of rapid-fire gunshots after that. Went on for about 2 minutes.
And what were people doing? What was the reaction of the crowd?
Yeah, you could hear screaming coming from over in the concert area, and the music stopped from there. But around, people were just trying to figure out what was going on, and not a lot of reaction at Mandalay Bay because the shooting was going on elsewhere.
So you were saying people were surprised. They didn't realize this was a shooting at first. You said cab drivers just kind of got out of their cars, were sitting there. What else were people doing?
Yeah, there were people just walking by out in the open on the road and just looking up at the window and trying to really figure out what was going on. And then finally, after a couple minutes of this, I think people started to realize it was a shooter in the building.
That was a video from Fox News, and it was posted 3 minutes ago by Hawks. Wide Awake Gentile posted a successful false flag. He thinks it's a false flag. Lisa Brackman, watching the misinformation and outright lies on the Mandalay Bay shooting spread in real time on Twitter is fascinating and appalling. Enil Perez. We're still awaiting for our family members stuck in Mandalay Bay home to come home at 2:30 a.m. There's about 66 more comments, so I'm going to refresh. Just looking at Twitter here, reporting what I'm reading. I couldn't ever get this M to load. The Daily Mail, it won't load. OMFG, chilling footage of the moment the shooter opened fire. Opened fire on concert goers near Mandalay Bay. It's very, very terrible that you can't even go have fun anymore without worrying about crap like this. False flag or not. It's sick. It's disgusting. It's demented. I can't get nothing to work anymore. My computer has completely quit working. Mary Lou Denley is believed to be his roommate, and the police are now looking for her. I bet he's not an American citizen. Just wait till that news comes out. I bet he's not American. I bet he's not American at all. That's why he might be living in Las Vegas, but they didn't say he was an American citizen. I bet he's an illegal alien. I bet he's probably from one of them Muslim countries, Somalia or one of the others. He might even be looking at the look of Mary Lou. He may be a Somalian. Now, that's just my guess. I'm just going on the record here. I can't get this to work. This internet we got here is crap. Total crap. Can't get a bit of it to work. I'm going to go do a search on Mandalay Bay. Shoot. And I'm going to pull up the current news and just look at the news that's going on right now. And these are the Google searches. Shooter on Las Vegas Strip near Mandalay Bay Hotel, police say. Active shooter reported at Las Vegas Mandalay Bay Resort daily. Terrifying noise when gunman opened fire with an assault rifle in Las Vegas. Police shut down Strip after shooting in Las Vegas. Story KTVU. So that is just the latest news, and this is from Start Page. And let me go to actual Google. Okay, so sorry, I'm doing searches. I'm just looking at the headlines here. This is from the Google search. Las Vegas shooting near Mandalay Bay Casino kills more than 20, and that's the New York Times. Las Vegas Strip shooting, more than 20 dead, CNN.com. Las Vegas shooting, more than 20 killed. 100 hurt, police say, and that is the NBC News. Mass shooting at Mandalay Bay Resort in Vegas. 20 plus dead. Raw footage. Automatic gunfire and sirens and shootings rock Mandalay Bay. Fox News. At least 20 dead and more than 100 injured. Good Lord, I knew it was a bad shooting. More than 100 injured near Mandalay Bay. BBC, Las Vegas, at least 20 dead in Mandalay Bay shooting, BBC News. Las Vegas Music Festival shooting, Las Vegas shooting, CBS News. Mandalay Bay Casino, Las Vegas shooting, update death plateau. And that's QZ.com, and I don't know what that is. Let's go and see if... So I'm going to go back to Fox News over here. And, massacre on the Strip. Gunman fires on concert, kills at least 20 and injures more than 100. And that is from the Fox News. And that's their front page. Let's see if I can actually do this. It's actually playing, I think.
Is this
Yep.
anything that you and your security team have discussed? You know, if something like this happened, what do you do? Is this anything that even had entered your mind as a possibility at one of your concerts?
You know, unfortunately, because of the way the world has been these days, it's constantly on our minds. You know, we're all careful, and I think the most unfortunate thing is looking out in the crowd tonight. You see fathers with their kids on their shoulders, and I mean, this was a country concert people came to from all over, and they just came to enjoy themselves and you don't think, and everyone knows the what's out there and the possibilities. But the thing about our beautiful country is that we get to, thanks to the men and women fighting for our freedom, we get to every day walk out there and feel that we're okay and we're safe in this country. You tend to forget about this sort of thing. And to answer your question,
Here we go with the
we sometimes think
military worshiping.
I don't think any of us ever really think that something like this is really gonna
You never expect it to happen until it happens when you're there. That's what everybody says. They say it never happened to me. You hear about it. You hear about the news. Jake, thanks so much for joining us on the phone. Now we do appreciate it. We want to just bring in another update here to a lot of people who've been waking up here in the last 10 minutes and just want to know exactly what is going on. The details are as follows. This was a 3-day music festival in Las Vegas, happening right across the street from the Mandalay Bay Hotel and Casino, a major property there in Las Vegas, and a gunman apparently has opened fire from the 32nd floor, a gunman who has now been killed. We do not have his name. We do not know his motive at this point, but we know that he had a high-powered automatic weapon, and from the 32nd floor, from that perch, shooting down into a concert that had at least 20,000 people attending, just opened fire
This monster.
for a number of minutes into this crowd at about 10:30
He's a
last
monster.
night, Las Vegas time, so that's about 1:30 in the morning on the East Coast, so maybe 4 hours ago.
I'm so tired.
This suspect
I didn't sleep the other night.
killing more than 20 people at this point. That is the number we have, but that is still preliminary. Injuring more than 100, and chaos would ensue after that. People pulling bodies, pulling injured people out of there, trying to get them somewhere where they could try and save some lives, and nobody had any idea where this was coming from. They just knew that bullets were being fired. They could hear it right at the very end of this country music concert.
Yeah, so the bullets fired from the 32nd floor there.
Shooter was on 32nd floor and is now dead. And we know that because he's been dead for hours now.
this music festival. Jason Aldean, the last performer on the stage at the time when the gunshots rang out, happened for about 20 to 30 minutes, some of the witnesses said. You can listen to the video happening right there. The gunshots, just one after another.
That definitely does sound like a high-powered gun.
Presumably the shooter reloading, and then more gunshots following. At least 2 off-duty officers killed there at the scene. You heard Jake Owen, one of the performers earlier during the 3-day festival, describing fathers with children on their shoulders there to just enjoy this music. As Rob said, about 20 to 30,000 people there on the scene, and we do have a wanted poster for you that we can show you. We mentioned that the shooter himself, who is not being identified, a Las Vegas local, has been shot and
Just
killed by
identify him already.
what we're told is possibly his roommate. This woman that you see there on your scene,
What is with holding that?
Lou Danley, described as Asian, 4'11", 111 pounds, possibly roommates with the shooter. Also looking for 2 vehicles somehow related to the shooter, a Hyundai Tucson, license plate 114B40, and a Chrysler Pacifica Touring 19D401, the license plate on that car.
Yeah, and we're going to go now to former senior military intel officer Steve Rogers joining us.
2 off-duty police officers among the dead.
Talking about the venue here and talking about how we secure the things that Americans like to do, which is go to concerts, be in large crowds. These are all the softest of the soft targets, and we try to secure them as best we can. But how do you secure something from a hotel that's 500 yards away? I mean, there's really no way to do it, right?
Well, there are a couple of things that developed this morning. I understand that there's a possibility that this woman may have been an employee at that hotel. I don't know if that's been confirmed yet. In addition to that, if that is a fact, now we know how this killer got access to that hotel with a weapon. There had to be pre-planning, and he turned this concert into a killing field. He took the greatest advantage point he could possibly have with an automatic weapon and just sprayed those people down. So this changes the way police are going to be securing.
Okay, so is this a liberal whack job? Is this a Trump hater? Is this a ISIS member? Is this a Somali? She's probably Asian. The woman is. But the Philippines has ISIS going on in it right now.
Because I had asked one of the authorities that joined us earlier, I believe it was Lieutenant Randy Sutton.
Is he somebody who had an axe to grind? Was he angry at country music? These are all good thoughts.
We were told we should also mention that once authorities and officers were able to enter the room there at the Mandalay Bay, I believe that they did see a lot of ammunition there in the room as well.
I still don't think, and Steve, you can speak on this, but I don't think it's that hard to get weapons into a hotel room. I mean, I've brought massive duffel bags of crap that I travel with into hotel rooms all the time. Nobody ever searches your bag when you go to the hotel. And just to talk about
That's
the
right.
security that you need to have now, I mean, this is, they talk about whenever the president or when the Pope does something, I mean, you have to look at, okay, you have to secure all the buildings around where they are. Like you said, this is no longer an issue of did you secure the front gate. This is an issue of everything around, any vantage point that you have. I mean, this could very well have been a more effective way to get this disgusting job done than walking up to the front gate armed with a rifle. I mean, this is a much softer target from above, right?
Well, you're absolutely right. And one thing to keep in mind, and thankfully President Trump had been able to return to police departments the tactical weapons they need in order to address shooters like this. In addition to that, I understand that the White House is going to give police agencies from federal to local departments the tools they need to increase intelligence and information and increase manpower. It's going to be a massive, massive infusion of money and manpower in order to prevent these things from happening.
I don't know if you heard the latest information that we got from our Adam Housley on the scene. He said that he does believe, he'd been told that at least 3 other people were being held and questioned at this hour. From all the additional information that you've received, do you in fact believe that there was just one shooter involved in this? as authorities are telling us.
Well, it certainly seems that way, and I say that as a result of the SWAT teams, etc., kind of backing off at this point.
Can't wait to hear Hagman and Hagman today. I'm sure Doug Hagman will have some info on this. He's always real good at assessing stuff like this. InfoWars too. I'll probably be asleep though, because I've been tired. I was getting ready to go to bed when this happened. I mean, I was going to do my exercises and I was going to go to bed.
Was there chatter on the internet on his, is there footprints, for example, electronic footprints on his computer and cell phones? I believe there may have been more people involved in the planning stage.
Yeah, and again, we have no idea what the motive is. We don't know if this was radicalized Islam. We don't know if this was, there's a lot of racial tension in this country right now. It could have been a number of things. It could have just been a psychopath carrying out something that he believed he could have known somebody at the concert and just wanted to.
That's right. All those things. I've thought about all that stuff.
And we're not even going to begin to speculate on what a possible motive was, a motive for this was, obviously.
Yeah.
Well, we know one thing, it was a terrorist attack. The question is...
That's right. It's a terrorist attack.
But it was indeed a terrorist attack.
No matter whether it was ISIS, whether it was some idiot, whether it was some angry, deranged Trump hater, somebody who hated Jason Aldean, it's still terrorism. And I am going to close here.
Can you tell us where you were, what you saw, what you heard? Erin, are you there?
Yes, I'm here. Thank you.
Hi. Can you tell us what you saw and where you were when the shooting happened?
Yes, we were to the right of the stage, about 20 feet back. It's a large grass area on either side of the stage, and it was pretty packed in. We heard what we thought was like a box gun, and we turned to see some confetti, so we thought at first someone just let off a confetti cannon. We were kind of upset at the time, thinking, why would somebody do that? That sounds like a gun. Why would you scare people?
That sounds like a gun to me.
I mean, how, what was
But I don't know what it'd sound like with all that music and if you had earplugs in.
Once the bullets started to fly, what did you do? What did you see?
Originally, no, because we didn't think it was for real.
Yeah.
And then we started to see people screaming at us to get down. So we all huddled, and I put my arm over my two sisters, and a gentleman in front of us laid over the top of us, and we would hear just semi-automatic round after semi-automatic round. We started to see people being carried to the edge of the barricade.
Did it sound just like on a movie? And look at this. Choose my provider. That's a bunch of crap. They don't ever have mine listed. Yeah, they do actually. Here we go. I don't have a login for it. Oh well. I guess I'll forget that. I was letting that info record, but they cut me off as usual. This is a bunch of just put your stuff out there. Bunch of crap. Okay, I'm going to quit at 5:55. Okay, I'm going to make my last report before I lay down. It's officially 7:20 a.m. I've had no sleep. This is going down as the worst shooting in history. And in America, 50 people injured. I mean, 50 people dead, 200 plus injured, and that's 50 plus dead, 200 plus injured. They're not sure right now. And it was a 64-year-old male. And he obviously had some type of training because he was skilled with his shots from 32 floors up. But I've noticed a tower-looking thing behind the stage that reminds me of the 9/11 towers. Has anybody else noticed that? That gives me creeps. Because I'm starting to think that maybe this might be another 9/11 event. I've still got the TV on in the background. I'm fixing to lay down here, so I'll compile this later and I'll put it up on YouTube. And I did rent for a little bit on that other part, but I got to thinking about Chattanooga and my sister and mother been at that event, and it was Toby Keith, and I got angry. And this guy, he's had some kind of training. He's had some kind of military training. He's had some kind of. He's not just a. I don't know who he works for. I don't know if he's a part of this Black Lives Matter movement that's. Or a radical Democrat. I don't know if he is an ISIS. I don't know what he was. But he was using a fully automatic weapon. He done it. He obviously scoped the area. They know that for sure. Fox News had a specialist or analyst calling all that. He was somebody that knew what he was doing. So, I've covered this all night. I've kept. This is my final update for this morning. By the time I wake up, or if I even get to sleep, there'll probably be more details, and if whatever details comes, I'll put here in this particular video. And I'm going to do the same thing for this one that I did the other. And I'm just going to upload it as is. No editing, no anything. And everything I say is what's on the tape. So there we go. The biggest mass shooting in the United States. By the way, I will let it stop me. I'm not going in. I'm not making any more plans to go to any more shows. I'm putting that on record. It ain't worth it. I'm staying my butt at home. If I get killed in my house, that's one thing. But I'm not going to get stuck in a crowd of people where I don't have no way of defending myself. I'm not actively pursuing any more shows as of now. As you know, I am. You looking at my channel, I am a avid fan of live music, but I am staying away from them. Okay, this is my last report for this particular video I'm working on. I woke up. I've had my food. It's 1:08 p.m. Yes, I slept late, but I was up all night. I was up all night the night before. Just like many people that was working for Fox News and other places, they said they had been covering something and they was up all night. Well, I was up all night as well the night before. Alex Jones just told on his program, just right before, and I was making this comment, this guy had posted about ISIS and about thinking Obama on Twitter, and I was replying to him, and just as I was replying to him, I was going to say this was ISIS or Antifa, either one. Well, Alex Jones came on just as I was doing that, and he said his sources was contacting him back, that one in particularly 10 minutes ago. At that time, he was on the air. It's been a few minutes now, quite a few minutes, but he come on there and he said that there was Antifa literature all over the place, and this woman, this Filipino woman that he was around in the Philippines, and everybody knows the Philippines. I've been covering this in my podcast over the past year. The Philippines, the islands down there in the Philippines, the lower part was all taken over by ISIS, and even the president of Philippines has been sick at his heart about it because he grew up in that area, and he's been having to send people in there to destroy it, and he was heartbroken. He couldn't even get out of bed and stuff because the Philippines is one of the areas that ISIS has got a stronghold in, and they was killing a lot of them. But this woman was seen in Dubai. This woman that was he was with, and there was all kinds of Antifa literature, and I don't know the details. I don't have his memo. I just wanted to close out my particular recordings that I started last night, and I'm going to put this together. I'm not going to edit the sound. I'm not going to clean them up. I'm just going to upload them to my computer, and now you're hearing it now. If you're watching it, you're hearing it from my recordings from last night. And I covered all this last night. I started out as it might be ISIS, but then I started in about it might be an Antifa. And that's the proof in my video last night that I posted. That I just started posting from the minute this stuff started happening. Well, I heard about it probably about 30 minutes, 40 minutes into it. And I started recording when I was doing my daily walk. At that time, I wasn't even sure whether I was seeing live pictures or not, because I couldn't actively flip through my TV to see. And sometimes I've noticed some of these stations will play their news from earlier, sometimes late at night, so I wasn't sure. But then I found out, sure enough, when I was able to flip through my TV, I found out, sure enough, that I was actually seeing live pictures, and it was actually happening as we was seeing it. So I'm not going to make any more special videos about it. But right now, there's 58 dead, 515 I think it was. I'm pretty sure it was 15. I might be wrong. I'm going on memory here. 515 injured. And they're saying that that total's going to rise because some of the injured people are still dying as we speak, or in bad shape. So my thoughts on this had to be orchestrated. Now, I've said that in the other parts of this video before here. This was too orchestrated. This was military style. And ISIS has claimed responsibility. And did I not call it earlier that Islamic skank was probably behind this? And that's what I said, Islamic skank. That's what I call them now. I don't call them Islamic State. I call them Islamic skank because they're a bunch of skanks on humanity. And God will deal with these people one day. Just like I was saying in that video, God will cut these people down. They're going to answer to the real God of this universe. And they're not going to get no 70 virgins or none of this other stuff. They're just going to get a flaming hot fire. And I hope God puts them down there with the Antichrist and Satan. So I'm going to close. And this is all my special videos. And thank you for listening. Thank you for, if you watched it, thank you. This is all I'm going to do on it. I'll probably cover it in my podcasts. But I'm putting all this up as is. Not editing it. I covered that it could have been Somalis because I didn't know, because the woman was a Filipino. And you never know because they're bringing these old Somalis in. And these Somalis, that was a Somali that did the Nashville church. He was a Somali. These Somalis are bad. Anything to deal with ISIS is bad. Anything to deal with Islam is bad. Unless they're one of those little groups that are liberal, would be like your loose Christians. If they're a radical Muslim, they're bad. And I covered that all year long. And I've covered Antifa all year long. These people are bad people. And if I was in charge, I would risk being called the Hitler. I'd round them up. That's just what I'd do to them. I'd round them up and use them FEMA camps that people's built, because it's not. This is not just this is the anniversary of the communist revolution, and the communists always said. And I grew up hearing this because I grew up under Ronald Reagan, and I grew up with several teachers that would teach on this. Their plans, they wanted us to be under the communist revolution. And they said we'd do it and we wouldn't even realize it. Now, you know, that's almost happened. But now you're actually realizing it. You're seeing it. We saw it with Barack H. Obama, who was our president who just went out. You got Hillary Clinton going on about silencers. And this wasn't nothing to do with no silencer. You can hear them. I mean, I know them people were saying it sounded like firecrackers. But I'm thinking loud music. I've been in that environment before. Loud music. And if you got earplugs in your ears, and I always do, it might sound like firecrackers, but it don't sound like no firecrackers on them videos, this sounds just like listening to a movie where you're watching them guns with movies, the movies with guns in it. Now, that's what it sounds like. Pow, 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 pow. Pow, 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 pow. I can tell by listening to it, this is a gun. So, Alex Jones warned us Friday. He was right on. He called it on right on. And I was telling you about this in my latest video before a podcast or something, or I might not even put that one up yet. I don't know. I commented about it somewhere though. I'm not even sure I put it up because I've been doing other things lately, and particularly with my Bible. I've been reading it. I didn't get to read nothing yesterday because I slept a big portion of the day. I'm planning to do a couple of chapters today, hopefully, if I don't spend all day on this. And it's not that this ain't important. It is important. Because these people mean business. They're wanting to destroy the rest of this country. And I would believe it if this guy was Antifa. He could be a lone nut. I covered that. He could be an idiot. Either way, it's a terrorist attack. It don't matter whether he's an idiot, he's a crazy idiot. It don't matter if he worked for ISIS. It don't matter if he worked for Antifa. It does in a way. Because these people are out to destroy us. And it would prove one thing. People have been saying that Antifa has been lining themselves with Islam. And so has the left. It would definitely prove that. And it looks like they have. But if this man is Antifa, it shows the Antifa and ISIS are the same thing. And they need to be declared as a terrorist group. That's where I'm going to close.